So the next question is, how did your perspective change when you went from handler to trainer? That is a good question. I think I have had a very interesting experience with that. I think, first of all, it wasn't that big of a jump. I have always been a coach, an educator, a teacher. Like I went to school for teaching. I have been teaching English to people in our travels since I was like 6. So I love to teach. So for me, it wasn't a huge jump per se. I would say that one of the biggest thing that has changed is that I have really started to appreciate people's learning experience. So although I have not really changed that much, being a handler, I was teaching myself how to train and went through a lot of classes and seminars and things like that. And being a trainer, I teach people how to train. So, it hasn't been that big of a shift, but my appreciation for people has really gone up. I see a lot of guilt. I see a lot of disappointment. I see a lot of pressure that people put on themselves. They come to us and they, are usually at their wits' end. They've tried all this stuff and there's a lot of emotions involved. And so for me, the biggest change was I just tried to tackle that feeling of inadequacy that people would have, or of disjointedness with their dogs, and really just tried to hit that dead on. So our whole style of training that we do is chiropractic, which is relationship-based training. And that's because for me, the most fascinating thing is the bond between the human and the dog. And then we even have all of our phrases like, no one's born knowing this shit. Like, it's okay, relax, we're here to help. Even our community and the style of these videos has all come around because I have been a handler and then I have been a trainer. So, hopefully that carries through. Hopefully you don't feel embarrassed or, overwhelmed when you come to me. Hopefully you feel like you have a safe space that you can just be yourself and we can just get you any of the help, advice, or directions that you need. My goal has always been to educate the public and to strengthen that bond between humans and dogs. I'd say maybe the change from being a handler to a business owner has been the biggest one. Just all of the different hats that I get to wear. For example, today I've worked on our website. I've worked on our checkout links. I've worked on Club Doghouse. The freedom that comes with being an entrepreneur for me has transferred really well from the experiences I had as a handler. Not having a lot of guidance, being very much self-taught in the very beginning. You can attend seminars and workshops and all that, but at the end of the day, it's you kind of doing the work and figuring out where you want to spend your time and your money. So that has probably been the biggest change. I cannot really sit down and train my dog without in the back of my head thinking about the additional business skills and classes and things that I want to teach as well. And I'm very blessed. I am married to another professional trainer and he's also my business partner. So our house is interesting. But I'd say those are probably the biggest changes that I've experienced from a handler to a trainer and a business owner.